Welcome back to the Health Longevity Secrets Show with your host, Dr. Robert Lufkin. His book, Lies I Taught in Medical School, is now a New York Times bestseller. And now, please enjoy this week's episode as we explore the journey from Bob Marley to health transformation with Charles Mattocks.
Ever wondered what it takes to turn a personal health crisis into a powerful media career? Join us today as we chat with Charles Mattocks, a dynamic television and movie producer whose journey from acting and music to advocating for health education is nothing short of amazing. Inspired by his legendary uncle, the great Bob Marley, Charles shares how his type 2 diabetes diagnosis led him to create impactful documentaries and TV series like Reverse, which ambitiously tackles the mental, physical, and spiritual aspects of living with diabetes. Despite initial skepticism and financial hurdles, Charles' dedication to health media shines through, offering valuable insights for anyone navigating similar journeys. Curious about the benefits and adaptability of various dietary lifestyles? We delve into the critical role of education in making informed health choices. We explore the keto, the carnivore, the vegan and vegetarian diets, emphasizing how understanding these options can aid in reversing chronic diseases. Charles also shares his excitement about a recent project filmed in Costa Rica, focusing on longevity and featuring influential health and wellness figures. I was honored to be a part of this wonderful project, and I learned so much from the experts there. This exciting venture aims to spread a message of hope and healthier living, demonstrating the power of knowledge and adaptability in achieving well-being. This episode is sponsored by SciFox Health. One of the most common questions I get asked is which blood tests I check myself on a regular basis. Well, I check 17 biomarkers, but the secret is I'm able to do everything from the convenience of my home. I collect the sample with just a simple finger stick like this. You don't need to be a doctor to do it. Then I just mail it in and wait for the results. SciFox Health makes it possible. Use the link below to get 15% off. This episode is brought to you by L Nutra, maker of the Prolong fasting mimicking diet. If you'd like to try it, use the link in the show notes for 20% off. Hey, people frequently ask me how I evaluate foods when I'm shopping for myself. So let me walk you through two very similar seeming products that actually one was a deal breaker for me. So first of all, here's the package. It's not enough just to look at the cover of the front of the package. I mean, this says organic. I like that, right? It says almonds. Okay. It says from California. Hey, I'm from California. That's a good thing for me. I like that. But it doesn't really tell me much. Here's a similar package. Someone else. This is also nuts, only not just almonds. This is a number of things, including all different kinds of nuts. This one says no sugar added. I like that. It says keto. I like keto. So that's good. But let's take a deeper dive, because it's not enough just to look at the covers for these. We have to look at two things on the back. The first thing is the food label that tells us the nutrition facts. So let's go back to our almonds here. And what we see is that look at total calories, 170. I don't really count calories. I count carbs and seed oil. So that's not a problem. 12 grams of fat. Well, these are nuts, so that's okay. We look at the total carbohydrates. It's about 8 grams, fiber, 3 grams. Total sugars, this is important, 1 gram, and importantly, 0 grams added sugar. So 6 grams of protein. So I like 0 grams added sugar. I like 1 gram of total sugar. That's good news. Now I compare it to the other package, which is again, about the same number of calories here. It's about 160 calories. Saturated fats, a little bit less than this one, 2 grams now. Dietary fiber, 3 grams. Total sugars, 1 gram, just like the other one. Same as the other one, 0 grams added sugar. That's good. The only kicker is there's sugar alcohol there, which in itself is not a deal breaker, but it's a red flag for me. Something's going on here. So it's not enough. First of all, the front labels tell us nothing. The nutrient facts on the back are key, and they can sometimes save us, and we can detect things that are problematic there. But it's also important. The final thing is actually to look at the ingredient list. And let's do that final step and see how these compare. Let's go back to our California almonds. Okay, they're right here. And we see that in the ingredient list, which is actually over on this side, the ingredient list here is very simple. It's only one item, organic almonds. I like that. The fewer things on your ingredient list, the better. So organic almonds, nothing else, no seed oils, no nothing. So almonds. So this is a go for me. Let's look at the other one now. Our keto pack, which sounds good, but it had those seed oils, those troubling, the sugar alcohols in the nutrition facts. But let's really dive down and see what makes this work. And to do that, we're going to look at the ingredient list, which is here. If I get this on camera, there. So the ingredient list, unfortunately, is long, but this is mixed nuts. It's not just almonds. So the ingredients are pecans and almonds, which is a couple, but then they go on and say, in parentheses, pecans and almonds, also including expeller pressed vegetable oil, sunflower, canola, and or peanut oil, sea salt. And that, my friend, those are industrial processed seed oils, which are pro-inflammatory. And for me, is an absolute a deal breaker. I go further down the list and we see more expeller pressed canola oil, salt, walnuts, and on and on and on. And then a few other natural flavoring things and unnatural flavoring things. But basically, this one lost me with the seed oils. But in order to find that out, I couldn't tell from the front label, which, are naturally next to worthless. And in this case, I couldn't even tell from the nutrition facts. So I had to go to the ingredient list. So always check nutrition facts because they can save us. There's a lot of added sugar that can be enough to nix it for me. But in this case, also look at the ingredient list. Shorter is better. One item ingredient in our almond nuts is good. 20 items, including pro-inflammatory seed oils, is not good. And this one goes in the trash. All right. Thanks for listening. See you next time. And now, please enjoy this week's episode. Hey, Charles, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Robert.
Charles and I go back, my friend, my brother, we've
Yes.
been friends for a long time, and it's great. It's great having you here. I can't wait to dive into the television, the movies that you've been working on, and the most recent one that we actually did together in Costa Rica. But before that, maybe tell us a little bit about your background a little bit. I know, full disclosure, you are Bob Marley's nephew. Wow,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with him? I mean, his movie's out, now, and he's such a force in the music industry. His music has affected so many lives, and continues to, will forever, really.
Yeah. Well, I will say, Robert, he actually inspired me to knowing what he was and everything that he left and wanted to leave and how he fought for people, really inspired me as far as my advocacy. When I was diagnosed, before that I was into film and television and music and had done very well, as an actor, starring in movies, playing the title roles in movies with such greats as James Woods, Elizabeth McGovern, been in films with Omar Epps, Cuba Gooding Jr. The list goes on the opportunities of the cast read-throughs with Oprah and so on and so forth. And then of course I had my stint in music because, inspired by my uncle, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I figured that I wanted to do something in music and started off in that path. But that led to just me going in other paths in the film and TV side of things. But it wasn't until I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I would say now about 15 years ago, when, and at this point, Robert, I had cookbooks and working with the ADA and putting out this whole healthy, affordable cooking thing that I was doing. And it was going fantastic. And I literally was just blindsided by this diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. And that's what kind of led me into starting a documentary based on my life, but also on the millions that are living with type 2 diabetes. But also really, Robert, the health care side of things, the business side of things, because I was totally uneducated about any of this. I thought doctors, the GPs were just, for our benefit. They took us our blood and our blood tests and then gave us, the medication that we needed. Not that I was taking medication, but at that point early on, they had given me some cholesterol medication and I didn't take it. But I really thought that was the norm. I didn't know that there was another side of healthcare and health and being healthy. So that kind of led me on this journey, and that opened up a lot of doors and a lot of questions. And I started to really just, take a deep dive into overall health and business of health and seeing people who, could be healthier, but just didn't have the information. And, that led to me creating a television series that was really bringing together, Robert, the modalities in type 2 diabetes from endocrinologists, dietitians, diabetes educators, and put them all in one place so that they could educate people who needed the education, but also really the inspiration.
Yeah, that what you're saying, that personal challenge and then the transformation, that's so common. I mean, I went through a similar thing with diseases, and so many people like yourself in this space find themselves transformed by it. And most of us don't have access to the skill set that you have in making these powerful documentaries and telling the story like you do. That's why it's so exciting. So what did you wind up doing?
Yeah, well, I ended up investing my own money, shooting a trailer, and it was called Reverse, and I came up with that name. And Robert, I will tell you, I got a ton of flack for that name, right? And this was, about 10 years ago. And I remember even a writer, doing a piece on me, and I said, listen, I said, this is really about reversing the mental, physical, and spiritual state of oneself. It's not about reversing type 2 diabetes. That can come, but remember that 10 years ago, even less, that word reversed as far as diabetes was like taboo. Nobody even mentioned anything like that. ADA, nobody was talking about any reversal. Now you have whole companies that are focused, like Verta Health, who are focused on reversing type 2 diabetes. So, we got a little kickback, of course, because the word reverse, but we forged ahead. I shot the trailer. I met a contact who was a syndicator. I brought it to him, and he said, Charles, usually take a few months to see if we find a home, and if we find a home. And literally within a few days, he rang me back and he said, Charles, Discovery is actually interested. And I said, wow. So at that point, Robert, I went into great trailer. Now, how do we fund this? And I literally locked myself away for like 2 months, calling everyone you could imagine, every company, every business that you could imagine, people who you would have thought really would have said, wow, this is a great idea. We'd love to be a part. Especially as much money as diabetes, generates for the business. And didn't find any. I mean, I'm talking about big lab testing companies to, meter companies to you name it. And then I got a connection to Mankind, which makes Afrezza, the inhaled insulin. And the CEO actually reached out and said, you know what, I like what you're doing, and how much is it? And within probably about a month or two, we sealed the deal, and we were in Jamaica shooting this first season, which was really the catalyst of what we've come to now, as far as so many other shows and topics that we're focusing on, really to bring to light the amazing experts like yourself who really are so knowledgeable about health and healthcare. And it's a game changer, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The reverse the type 2 diabetes one, I think you did 2 seasons of that so far, right?
Yeah.
And it's very powerful. I recommend it to everybody, where especially the model, the format is you bring in sort of lay people, regular people. It's almost like a reality TV show, and then experts. So you get to experience it through the eyes of the regular people who are there, and they get to try the different strategies, different therapies, lifestyle things, and then you literally watch their transformation through the program, and over the course of the program, and you can see how these things work on these like regular people like like you and me, and it's a great model. It's not just a bunch of talking heads like a documentary, but it's really engaging as you tell the story of these people as they go through it, and that was beautiful. And then you did one with I think another one that you did that might resonate with our audience is the one you did on carnivore. I mean, some of our audience are vegans and vegetarians. I love them. And some of them are carnivores, and some are in the middle, and I love them all. All those diets can work, but you talked about the carnivore diet and some of the health benefits of that. And how is that program?
That was fantastic. Actually, what happened is we did a keto version, right? So we did a keto season, and that had all the big names, from Dr. Ken Berry to Maria Emmerich to I can't even remember everybody now, but it had some big names on there. And the natural progression, and everybody, all the guests who were on that series did fantastic too as well. They all came off of medicine. I mean, Jerome actually came off of insulin. And lowered, all their medications, and lost upwards of 40, 50 pounds. And so we really saw, an amazing transformation. But the thing is that a lot of people who are into keto also kind of bleed over into carnivore. And, when I first heard of carnivore, I was like, these people have lost their minds. I mean, this guy talking about bacon and eggs. And at this point, I wasn't really so educated on the whole cholesterol myth and everything like that. And I just was blown away. And I started to really take a deep dive and kind of look into it, and doing a lot of reading and watching videos. And I thought, wow, the thing is, Robert, our goal is to bring the information. It's not per se my, personal opinion. If it's, while I follow it myself, whether it's keto or really meat based, while I do it myself, we're just an unbiased view into what might be options, whether there are options. Those options are for now or long term, right? Because a lot of people, someone can get on carnivore and say, you know what, I'm gonna do carnivore for, let's say, 6 months, right? And they could lose weight, they can bring down some of their numbers, they can bring down their inflammation, they can really make a total turn. And then they say, you know what, I think I'm gonna introduce a little bit of vegetables and maybe a little bit of fruit here and there. But, so of course they can adapt it, but we need the information. Why not have the information? Let's have a conversation about keto or carnivore or diabetes or cancer or some of the things that we're working on, so that people can make an educated decision as far as their health. Because as you know, there are people who are starving for information. That's why you have so many online YouTube doctors having views in the millions, right? That's why you have so many big names on YouTube that are, bringing in millions of views, because they have really taken a deep dive and gone out of the lane of the traditional standard treatment and did some research and really, became passionate and advocates of helping others. And I think that, a lot of times people have great success in whatever field that they're in, and especially if you're in healthcare. And at times, you want to reach a lot of people, right? If you have a message of hope and that message can save lives, you don't want to just keep that to a few people in front of you, a few people that come into your office. You want to get that word out to millions, so that, at times I feel one of the things that I want to make sure I do is that, before I pass my time on this earth, I want to make sure that I left something and was remembered. I would hate to not be remembered for more than just, retiring at 65 and playing golf or something like that,
Yeah, purpose and
Yeah.
goals are so important for all of us. But yeah, the education piece is critical, because a lot of people have never heard of carnivore. They've never heard of the idea of reversing some of these chronic diseases, and whatever it's keto or carnivore or vegetarian or vegan, whatever the choice is, we all get to choose what works best for our lifestyle. I mean, I think everyone would agree we got to get rid of the junk foods.
Yeah.
If you're going to be vegan, don't eat vegan junk food. If you're going to be a carnivore, don't
Yeah.
eat carnivore junk food,
Yeah.
and all those things. And then the one of the most recent projects I'm really excited about was I got to spend time on it down in Costa Rica, where
Yeah.
you filmed a longevity program, a
Yeah.
reverse D longevity program that will really
Yeah.
resonate with this audience on this summit. Maybe you could
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was very exciting. I mean, obviously, honestly, you actually helped inspire me for that one. We were talking about doing something and trying to figure out where it was a good fit, and then longevity kind of came into the fold, and I reached out to you, and you were, 100% behind it, and then we reached out to a few more good people, and then those people reached out to a few good people, and we found ourselves, shooting this last season, about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, in Costa Rica, with some of the biggest, faces in longevity, and growing faces, upcoming faces too, as well, of people who are just really passionate, and who have great companies who are pushing the agenda of better health. And I think that one is going to be really, I know this one is going to be really powerful, because how we kind of formatted it is while we have some very strong words and some very deep conversations, we wanted to make it so that the everyday common person could understand it as well, right? So, and also what action steps that they can take toward living a better, healthier life now. So we actually featured two guests, an older couple who were fantastic, and I love them because they have both worked very hard on their health, and I think they're in their maybe 70s or something like that, and they want to live another 100 years if possible, right? Their love is so strong. They never want to part ways, and both have made tremendous changes. And I think this is just another added addition toward the changes that they're making. And we know that there are going to be some great things coming around in the future, but once again, where are we at now? Let's understand what longevity is. Let's understand some of the science behind it, some of what's around the corner as far as products that that help from, biological clocks to, supplements. So I think this is going to be a really powerful series, and I intend and would like to grow and do another 2 or 3. Maybe the next one might be in the Middle East, or in maybe Bali or Indonesia or something of that nature. So I think, and we've gotten a lot of feedback on that. I mean, in only a few weeks, I've gotten people reaching out, and you could see the excitement in the industry where we have something that, and not to run on, but there might, somebody may make a documentary, they may make a movie. What I like about this is that it's a series, and the series can continue and continue to grow as the technology and as the science grows.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience down there, and a lot of it opened my eyes about longevity. I learned a lot of things, and I won't give away the secrets of there's some pretty good surprises in this program. So hopefully you'll all get to be able to watch it when it comes out, and remind us where this will be coming out. Do we know yet?
Yeah, this is going to be on Discovery, and then we're going to, subsequently air it in different places. We work with everyone from PBS to, a lot of, OTT streaming platforms, and it'll definitely be seen. And even after it is on Discovery, and we're working on placing it, potentially on like a big social media platform too as well, because once again, while network is good, those numbers have really dwindled down in network, right? Because of social media and YouTube and things like that. So, somebody might get, 30 million views or something on YouTube, whereas that same program, if aired on NBC, might only get 600,000. So I think that the world we live in right now is so, technology driven. There's so many great outlets for the series to air where everyone can see it, not just putting it somewhere where someone has to have a certain, type of TV or be in a certain location or someone like that, because there are people who can't see movies that I've been in Europe, that are on platforms where you would think that they would be able to see it, and they're like, no, Charles, we can't see it. So we want to make sure that everyone can see it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's so important. It'll be great to see it coming out like that and widely available. Well, tell me, what are you looking forward? What are you most excited about going forward? What what do we have to look forward to?
as we're going into edit on the longevity series, we have put together a really beautiful group of experts to focus on menopause. And, a lot of the shows that I create, Robert, are based on, personal experience, things that I've gone through, or ones that I care about, So when I did the diabetes, obviously that was based on, myself and others who I may know. When I did the cancer series, it was based on my father passing from cancer in 2014. And the menopause one was based on a good friend of mine who was, I think, was in menopause at like 41 years old, and was dealing with, lack of information. Just this was probably about 10 years ago. Lack of information, just, no real following, nothing that they could actually turn to say, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to try. This is how I'm going to get through this, dealing with mental health issues too as well, some emotional issues, because it's a roller coaster and can be to some people. So I told her, I said, you know what, when I get a chance, and I circle back around, I'm going to do something on this subject. And we put together some of the biggest and the best in menopause. Just had some great company calls with some major companies that want to come on board. So I intend to start shooting probably in the next month or two, and then release somewhere around August. But that one I think could be our biggest and breakout season. And that's one of the things that excites me about what we've been doing, is that, we've been independent, and trust me, it's not easy, but we're turning out amazing work, and everyone who sees the work is blown away, and they're like, Charles, sign me up. So we know that once we have that breakout series, it will open up the door for us to focus on a lot more conditions. I want to do everything from prostate cancer to you name it, where we really get some answers, inspire some people, and hear some stories. And this is good for the overall business of whatever it may be too as well, because obviously, whether people need to be tested more, Robert, whether it's type 2 diabetes or even prostate cancer. If we're putting a program on that makes somebody watch it and say, my God, I need to go get tested, who normally may not have gotten tested or may, have pushed away a few signs, then I think that we have probably one of the strongest pieces, for reaching and people who are living with conditions.
Absolutely. Well, how can people find you on social media? How can they where can they go to see the trailers for these and actually watch these programs?
Definitely. I like to keep it nice and uncomplicated. I would say, if you Google my name, Charles Mattocks, MATTOCKS.com, my website will come up, clips will come up, YouTubes will come up, videos will come up. Of course, you can go to, our website, which is Bella and Ellie Media, BELLAAND Media, .com, and you can see all our trailers and information and our past work and so forth. But it's just Charles Mattocks, and you'll find us. With today's technology, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can find anybody on Google now. So
Yeah.
well, and I highly recommend those series. It's a treat to see those. And thanks so much, Charles, for spending time with us today, and also thanks so much for the great work that you're doing.
Oh, thank you, and thanks for believing in us. And you are truly a pioneer in your own right, and you're leaving a legacy in your own right too as well, Robert.
If you are enjoying this program, please hit that subscribe button, or even better, leave a review. Your support makes it possible for us to create the quality programming that we're continually striving for.
Can I start? Is it recording?
It's already recording.
Oh, sorry. This is for general information and educational purposes only, and it's not intended to constitute or substitute for medical advice or counseling, the practice of medicine, or the provision of healthcare, diagnosis, or treatment, or the creation of a physician-patient or clinical relationship. The use of this information is at their own user's risk. If you find this to be on the value, please hit that like button to subscribe to support the work that we do on this channel. And we take your suggestions and advice very seriously, so please let us know what you'd like to see on this channel. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time. You should say that.
No, that's good. That's good to say. I think that's very good. You like it? You want to do it one more time, or is that good? I think that was good.
Yes.
All right.
You need to save the recording.
Very good.